If you're like me, you can't stand waiting for stacking to finish or any of the other processing to finish. So I built the ultimate astrophotography PC, and I'm going to show you how I did it. Welcome back, Beardos, and a lot's happened since the last time I posted a video. It's been a very long time. I actually moved to a new city, and I'm in a new place, as you can probably tell. During that process, I actually built a brand new PC. Towards the end of last year, early this year, I decided that I wanted to get a new PC. I always build them. I build them to last for a few years. The last one I had actually lasted me about 10 years. So I decided it's time for a new one. And I wanted to focus on the things that I use it for. Now, I'm not a big gamer, not anymore at least, but I do a lot of work, specifically processing images for astrophotography, as you guys know. And so I picked a bunch of the components specifically for that purpose. I could use it as a gaming rig, but its main purpose is astrophotography. So what goes into an astrophotography PC? Well, you know, the best place to actually go if you use PixInsight, go to PixInsight's website. PixInsight actually will state there what they recommend. Now, I looked at the specs and I got higher specs than they recommend, but I got them for a specific reason. Now, if you look at it, you'll notice that most people think that the graphics card is really important, but graphics card is actually not as important in astrophotography. And the reason is most of your workloads are processing the whole images, whether it's stacking or registering your images. Those really heavy workloads tend to be mostly on the CPU. So you actually want to bias the build towards the CPU. Additionally, you'll need a lot of space. So you need a pretty big hard drive. You'll need a good amount of memory, and the reason for that is you're dealing with really big images and you're dealing with a lot of them, so having a lot of memory is actually ideal. I'll go through the specific parts that I picked towards the end of the video, but for now let's cut to the actual PC build. So there you have it. That's the Villa PC. as I call it. I called it that because it actually, I colored it blue and red like the Villa Supernova remnant that I have taken an image of with a remote telescope, not with my own, but it's one of my favorite pictures. So what's in the PC and why did I choose it? Let's talk about the graphics card first. Like I said in the beginning, the graphics card is probably one of the least important components in your astrophotography PC. And that's good because the prices are actually quite high right now. I have a Nvidia RTX 3070, which I got earlier this year, and I was lucky enough to get it before the prices started skyrocketing for those. But I could have got a 3080 or a 3090 at the time, and the 3070 was actually just right, and it works great. Now the more important components are going to be the CPU and the memory. And for the memory, I used 128 gigs of RAM, which is actually way more than you need. I would say if you really, even when I'm stacking, when I'm looking at like how much resources I'm actually consuming, I don't see it go anywhere near even 50%. So I would say if you've got like 32 or ideally if you have like 64 gig of RAM, that should be okay, or should be really good actually. The other thing is, and I think this one is more important, so if you're going to splurge on this, splurge on the CPU. Why the CPU? The CPU is really, really important in stacking and in a lot of the noise reduction algorithms and the processing algorithms that you'll use. And so I got a Ryzen 9 5950X. It has 16 cores and 32 threads. And so stacking happens very, very fast. Other than that, I have a Asus Dark Hero motherboard. The motherboard really is not like the biggest or most important component. And I have a 2 terabyte NVMe drive, like a SSD, that sits in the motherboard, and that has my operating system and all my programs on it. And then I have an 8 terabyte drive specifically for storing the images. Why did I do water cooling? Well, the water cooling was actually it was kind of like a fun experiment. I've built PCs for years. I've been building PCs since I was 15 years old. I've never done a water cooled one. I don't know that I would do one again. It was a huge challenge. And I didn't just do like a regular water cooled. I actually did an actual custom loop where I had to bend the pipes myself. If you pay attention, you'll notice that I didn't do the greatest job. But it also like prevented me from finishing the PC because right when I was done, we were actually in the middle of moving, and I didn't want to move a PC that was filled with liquid. So I actually held off finishing it for like a month or two until I moved, and then I filled it with the liquid at the new house. But I'm more than happy with how it came out. It shockingly all worked when I turned it on. That's the other thing with the water loop, is you can't test it until everything is done. But it came out awesome. I use it now for stacking all my images, and I've been reprocessing some of my images with it, and it's come out great. So there you have it. That's the Villa Astrophotography PC. Hope you found this video helpful, guys, and if you have any questions, put a comment down below. I'll make sure to respond. And if you want to see more videos like this, definitely hit that subscribe button, and we'll be making more and posting them up soon.